and I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. I've heard the song. This was on TikTok, I think.
Okay.
I think so. Anyway, well, welcome to Saikai Week 4. It seems to be just be going faster and faster, honestly. But you know, hope we're all surviving, doing well, getting into the swing of things. We will start with some announcements. Joanna, do you want to present? You want me to?
I can. So membership dues are $30 for the entire academic year from 2022 to 23. And our hard deadline is November 8th. I'll probably be reminding you guys every week. A couple of you guys have already paid, so thank you very much. And make sure to contact me directly so I can confirm that I've received your payment and I can give you guys a receipt or stuff.
Yes. So you still have a bit of time to pay the dues, but yeah, make sure if you're interested in becoming an official member, send us the dues. See, attendance, of course. Let's see, is the link. Let's see. Jojo, do you have the link?
Yeah, I sent it already and I'll resend it.
Perfect.
Right now.
Yeah, so you scroll up in the chat. She was proactive with it. Alrighty. Yeah. We know this song. Us young people know this song. But yeah, so this week's guest, you know her, you love her, Donna. She was Saikai's. If you don't know her, Donna was last year's co-vice president with me, so it's really nice to have her back. She's actually in the master's program at Cal Poly, so she's going to give us a little bit of insight into that and kind of what her experience has been like. Everything about it. There will be a section for questions, so you can post your questions in the chat, but we'll save them until the end. And then we'll have a Q&A session, but for right now the e-board's just going to lead some guiding questions, but yeah, so I'll stop the music and we'll pin Donna. Give me one sec. How can we let's spotlight you for everyone.
Oh, there I am.
There you go. Okay, so Donna, we'll start out. So what made you want to apply to CPP's master program?
Well, I only applied to 3 master's programs, and I really wanted, the one I wanted to get in was CPP. I transferred here from Mount San Jacinto College in my junior year, and most of it was online, and I've been on campus. I had a hybrid class, but we ended up only meeting twice in person, and I just, I think it's a beautiful campus. I've just my 2 years here meeting all the psychology professors, or a lot of them, and I've liked all of them. They're very warm and personable and helpful, and it just Cal Poly feels like home to me, and so that's why I this was my main choice, and fortunately they accepted me.
Yeah, definitely. I know a lot of people are transfers, and hopefully, Psychi and the psych faculties help major transition a bit easier. But for those who are interested in the Cal Poly grad program, what was the application process like for you?
So whenever it was available, I think it was due in March, and So I think we could start applying in October, and I had two other applications that were due sooner. So I probably started applying in January, and way ahead of time I asked for reference letters. Get those way in advance and then keep reminding them. That way, if they say no, you can ask other people. But fortunately, Dr. Barker and Dr. Doucette, I got reference letters from them. And then I got one. I used to work at the Pride Center, so I got one from John, who used to be the coordinator at the Pride Center. And so that, get your reference letters in line. Y'all will probably be having a how to apply to grad school workshop, and that's one part of it. And then you fill out the forms, you write your statement of purpose and your personal statement, and the directions are all what you need to do are on the website, on the Masters in Psychology program website in Cal Poly Pomona. And Dr. Barker is the chairperson, runs the program. And the interview process, it was all online, and it was kind of like a group thing where everybody who was accepted into the interview process, they asked us, they talked about the program first, and they had students who were the cohorts for that first year that are now second year cohorts, and they answered any questions that we had, and then they did they break us into groups first and do that? Yeah, I think they broke us up into groups, and we had like a little group bonding activity, and at least one person in the group that I was in, and maybe one other person, were now in the cohort for this year, besides me, I mean. And then we had our individual interviews, and I got Dr. Baumgardner and Dr. Felicia Friendly Thomas were the two who interviewed me. And the questions, I felt they were pretty easy questions, but I was, prepared to be interviewed too. And I had looked up online a lot of questions that they ask you in interviews. And so I really felt like, for me, it was easy. I was worried they were going to ask me something I couldn't answer, but I was just really excited to be there. It was easy to talk about my enthusiasm for Cal Poly Pomona and my enthusiasm for the faculty there, and just that Cal Poly feels like home. And so, yeah, then I got notified by Dr. Barker, and on the 25th we had like an orientation where we showed up in person, and the 29th was our first day of classes. We meet Mondays and Wednesdays, and all day pretty much. And yeah, that was the process. If you have any other more detailed questions, feel free.
Yeah, thank you so much. Definitely, like the interviews and the kind of process is similar to how it was during undergraduate, but obviously the stakes are higher. There's a lot more like passion and heart goes into it with grad programs. So absolutely. So what do you enjoy most about the program so far, and what has been like a recent challenge for you in the program?
For me, one of the biggest challenges is that we meet on Mondays and Wednesdays, and that's fine. And we meet starting at 10 a.m. And again, that's fine, but we stay until 5:15, and we only have 15-minute breaks between classes. And so you've got to like, you know, you got to eat in class, you got to bring food. We got, oh, one cool thing that we do have is that right next to the classroom that we're in the most is the grad student lounge. And so we get special keys for that, and we get to go in there, and there's like a microwave and little not TV, little fridge, and yeah, and a couch and some chairs and things, and areas where you can work on your homework. And it's this tiny room. Like, we couldn't all fit in there at the same time unless we were breaking fire hazard rules. But it's, you know, you heat up your meals. But that is sitting in those little desks, you know, the little desks that have the chairs attached to them. And that's kind of a challenge to sit in pretty much all day, with like only getting up to go to the bathroom in between. Either you're going to the bathroom in between classes, or you're grabbing your food and you're going to eat it as quickly as you can before the next class starts. Fortunately, the professors have all been pretty good about letting you eat while you're in class, because I mean, seriously, what else are you going to eat? We do have this one class. There's one class that meets on Monday, and then another class that meets at the same time on Monday, and that's about a 3-hour class. And we do get a 20-minute break in between so far. So at least there's that. But yeah, those of just feeling stiff from sitting in the chair have been my biggest challenges so far. The thing I like the most, though, is that, you know, in keeping up with the readings, we have a Discord group for our cohort, and we all take a section of the readings and make notes, and then we post them into a channel on our Discord server. And that way we don't have to like do 100% of the readings. We just do our section of the reading and make those notes, and then we get to have other people's notes for the readings. And fortunately, we've been able to trust each other enough to trust each other's notes and let go, and, you know, not say, no, I have to make my own notes and all that. I mean, we all made it into the master's program, so hopefully we're all good at taking notes, or at least halfway decent.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely, like, you know, shed some light. Grad school's hard work. A lot of grinding.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I wouldn't say it's particularly more difficult to understand than things that we have to do in undergrad. It's just, you know, it's like just the next level up. But it is more reading, a lot more reading. We just found out we have to, you know, in the DSM-5, we have to know the numbers that come after, like F40.40 is agoraphobia or something like that, you know. We just found out, we're like, can we not have to know the numbers? And so we're gonna they like vote in somebody to rep the cohort for like all of the professors. So when there's, you know, like if we have a complaint or something, or, you know, a suggestion, and I get to be that person that talks with the faculty. So yeah, I'm going to be asking about, you know, if everybody has the same question for the professor, then I'm the one that, you know, you can still individually go and ask your questions, obviously, but that way it keeps them from getting 17 emails on the same question.
That's so cool. I didn't know that they do that. That they
Yeah.
have like a representative.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes sense. So what has been like your course load? Like what has been your class? Like what classes are you taking right now? And which one's like your favorite or your least favorite?
I have 5 classes, and most of the classes are just the usual hour and 15 minutes, except for the those 2 that are on Monday, and then the other one's on Wednesday. So I have research methods and statistics, and that is with Dr. DeYoung. Oh, and we call her Erica because we're grad students. And let's see, then after that with Rachel Baum, it's not Baumgardner.
Baumsteiger.
Baumsteiger, thank you. Because we just call her Rachel. So we have advanced topics in human development. And let's see. And then on Mondays, we have the psychopathology class with Dr. LJ. And that's Dr. LF, not LJ. What am I saying? Dr. LF, Dr. Lamoth Francois. And then let's see, after that, our final class of the day is evidence-based practices, and that's with Tatiana. And then on Wednesdays in the psychopathology place, we have Intro to Marriage and Family Therapy, and that is with Dr. McLeod, Sadia McLeod. Some of them, a couple of the, like Dr. LF and Dr. McLeod, I think prefer doctor. So that's what we've been doing. And everyone else has said, just call me Erica, call me Rachel, Tatiana, and that. They're all fun. I think it's just like the amount of work that we have to do in some of the classes. I thought research methods was going to be, and statistics was going to be the hardest, but so far we don't have to do, we're not going to have to do like an actual experimental research project or anything. We're not going to have to work with SPSS, even though it's kind of fun, but I always need a review every time I get into a statistics class. It's like, I don't remember what to do. So yeah, so that's at least that's how I feel. Some people are intimidated by Dr. LF, or maybe by the classes or by her standards. She just recently graded some things that I haven't had a chance to look at, and I'll let you know. If I could look it up now even and see if I got mine graded, because everybody else got theirs graded and some people got 0 out of 5 on it. Oh, I got 100%. Yay.
Woo!
Yay. What a relief.
Yeah, I know. I think so. My next question, I think, is something that everybody has on their minds, but nobody talks about. Are there quizzes and exams in grad school? And how are they graded? How are they weighted? What is like the grading like?
It depends on your professor. But so far we don't have quizzes, but we have like midterms. In one class we have like 2 midterms and then the final. And then we're gonna have, and then usually we're just gonna have the midterm and the finals. And the exams they tend to be more like short answer, or you get a vignette and here's the situation and how are you going to diagnose them and what are you going to do for treatment and that. So they're already asking us these questions. We're like, we're new. We just have our bachelor's degree.
Yeah, I think that definitely, I don't know, it took the relief off of me. I don't know about anyone else, because those like, multiple choice answers in grad school. So then I know that every program,
some of them might still do a few multiple choice. I don't know.
Yeah. True, false, hopefully. I know that some grad schools have pretty strict grading requirements. So, thinking about final grades in classes and where you stand with that. Can you explain a little bit about that as well, like how your overall grade is viewed in grad school?
Yeah, basically, if you get like 2 B minuses, they're going to have a very strict conversation with you. And I don't mean like on an assignment. I mean like, for that semester. So if you have 2 B minuses, or you're kind of running for a while with some B minuses, they're going to have a talk with you. You can have straight B's and be okay, but not the B minuses. So it's not the whole C's get degrees anymore. So an A is a B is a C is fail. No, they don't do it like that, but yeah. So, and like they said, it shouldn't be that hard because we're all generally AB students or A students or whatever. We got in with that with our grades. So they're not too worried. They say so far they've only had to do it with one particular person. And that was like, it sounded like it was a long time ago and that kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that that definitely can be scary, but hopefully you're going.
Yeah, it sounds scary, but yeah, so far I haven't been too worried about it. We'll see toward the end of semester when I start to feel like I'm, up to my eyeballs in work.
Yeah. And I think, with grad school, hopefully you're going to grad school with something that you enjoy. So it
Mhm.
makes learning easier and retaining the information easier. So if anyone's stressing about that, don't
Yeah.
worry too much.
Yeah, because like my goal is to become a therapist. So everything that we're learning is going to inform us about our therapy practice and how to make us better therapists. And so anytime I'm reading something, I'm like, how can I apply this to somebody who might be in this situation or somebody who might need my help in this situation? And it's not boring so far. There might be like a reading here or there, sometimes a DSM can be a little dry. And also it's, the DSM is just diagnostic. It doesn't give you the treatments. It's not the theory treatment book. If you've taken theories yet, save your textbook. Save that textbook if you can.
Yeah. And speaking of like applying it to your own practice, so I totally we just totally skipped over this, but so what is your field of like interest? Like what part of clinical psychology are you interested or hoping to go into?
Well, I want to become a marriage and family therapist, but the population I want to help, it's kind of an intersection between people that have come out of cults or religious high control groups and people in the LGBTQ community. And there is definitely an overlap there. And then, it's sort of a Venn diagram of who I want to help because they don't have to be in the LGBTQ community. But if they came out of a cult and they need help adjusting, or if they're, like a kid that's come out to their parents and their parents don't know how to support them, I want to be there to help the parents, respect the pronouns and that kind of thing, and be able to support their kids.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a niche interest that I feel like has so much power and like such a need for in the psychology community. I know, I think it was Paris Hilton spoke out about her experience at like that summer camp or something. I don't know if have you heard about that?
No.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily like a religious cult, but it's like there's this whole like epidemic. Yeah, the troubled teen industry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know she went to one of those.
Yeah, she like took it to the courts, like high courts. Um yeah, Provo Canyon. So, yeah. It's very interesting, very kind of like up your alley. So, I didn't know if you heard about that. But yeah.
No. Well, like if you all remember that Bad Baby, the Catch Me Outside girl from Dr. Phil, and she was sent to that one of those places.
Mhm.
And she she saw abuse and mistreatment. She saw someone get killed, one of the counselors there get killed by one of the kids. She was abused and mistreated, and of course they wouldn't believe her because she's a kid and they're the adults.
Yeah.
And So she's, and she wants Dr. Phil to apologize, and he won't apologize because, he can't be wrong, of course. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's so, and people are like kind of finally talking about it,
Mhm.
because it's been so hush hush for years, but yeah. Wow. So I think we have a question in the chat, and we can now open it up. 'Cause I ran out of questions. Does anyone else but I know we have Anessa asked, was any financial aid available through FAFSA, or are only loans available for grad school? Because loans are kind of scary. The price of grad school can be really scary. So
No.
tell us about it.
Well, I applied through FAFSA. And,
Okay, we keep the dice cuts in that cabinet.
sorry about my
Specifically
background
at all right.
there. My cat's trying to break into my room. Anyway, so I
But you're
applied
fine.
for FAFSA. I don't think that I got.
Hold on. I'm
Okay.
going to.
Oh.
I think someone's unmuted.
I didn't have my AirPods in, and Siri still read a text that came in out loud on my phone. I've never had that happen. And it was about the Adam Levine thing.
How do we?
I think I got like
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Donna. Go ahead.
So yeah, so I'm not sure. I don't think that because I happen to have money from the sale of my house that my ex-husband and I used to share, and I got half the money from that, but most of that I had paid already for my undergrad. So I was able to pay for my first semester with that money. I was kind of bummed that I had to do that because I really wanted to save that money for later, for after school. But they have to count all your money when you're applying for FAFSA, and you can't lie to the federal government. So that's very bad. So yeah, so I just recently applied for student loans, and that is the main source. Also grants. There are grants for students. They're opening up October 1st, and I shouldn't tell anyone. Well, you're not a master's student, so we're not competing for the same ones. But yeah, they open up October 1st, and I believe they close like March 1st. And there's some grants that you can, or scholarships that you can apply for. I don't think they have any FAFSA grants, but they, for grad students on FAFSA, but I still apply with my info every year, and they say, oh, well, you are okay for this unsub loan, and sweet. It's scary getting a loan because of how, having to pay it back 6 months after you are starting to pay it back 6 months after you graduate, and just hoping that you're going to get a job that's going to cover that and your expenses. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Next question. So this goes back to applying for grad school. What made you feel like you stand out? What made you wait, okay, let me read one more time, and I got it, I swear. What do you feel made you stand out as an applicant? I can't read today.
I think part of it was my enthusiasm for CPP, that I was an active student here, in Psych-Hi and on the e-board. I worked at the Pride Center. I had good rapport with my professors. I genuinely, you don't have to pretend to like people. These professors, I genuinely like them. And, it's possible that my life experiences, I was raised in a religious cult, and, my age, and that I've already raised children and that kind of thing, so I've got some life experience behind me. It's possible. I mean, they didn't tell me what made me stand out, but and I wasn't going to ask any questions like, oh, I'm accepted. Yay.
Yeah, good answer. I think, um, they want well-rounded students. They want people who can bring something to their program as well. So next question from Madeline. Do you work while in school, and how has it been balancing it out so far if you do? Or if you don't work, maybe, any extracurriculars or, you know, things you do on the side take up time.
I don't work. I worked at the Pride Center last year for the year, and uh, I had working at the Pride Center isn't too bad because you can do homework there while you're working there. It's not like running around all the time and that kind of thing. So it's not like a job where you're in the food industry and you're just constantly serving customers. You can't really go back in the back and do homework. But yeah, I had heard that it was kind of a big course load from the previous year's cohort. And so I just decided not to have a job. And for me, I'm glad. I know there are some other students who have a job and they're kind of struggling with the juggling of the classes and that kind of thing. I mean, they're all good students, and they're struggling with getting enough sleep, because there's the studying and then there's the working and getting enough sleep is, I think, the big struggle. You can work the first year, but by the second year, you're going to be in your practicum. And so the days per week that you're not in classes, those 3 days, or maybe 2 of those 3 days, you're going to be doing your internship. So,
Yeah.
so they recommend you don't have a job during that time. So that's where the school loans come in handy, because you're going to need something. If you don't have parents to help you out or something, or scholarships to help you out, then you're going to need something to help pay for your living expenses. I mean, I'm lucky I do get alimony from my ex-husband, but that doesn't cover everything. That just, I can barely eke by on that, on what he's able to pay. So
Yeah. And I think, that's pretty standard with most grad programs, that the first year they'll be a bit hesitant about you working, because they really want you to focus on like the program itself. I would say more for masters than PhD programs. They are fine with you working, and then once the second year rolls around, or even sometimes the second semester in your first year, you're doing your practicum. And so they're like, you can at your own risk, but you got to find the time. Can't be awake all the time. So I know for PhD it is different. They do also give you a stipend. You're not paying for your PhD.
Yeah, most programs do, but not PsyD.
Not PsyD, not PsyD. But PhD, yeah. I mean, it's same thing. Like it's not enough for you to be going out and like going to Whole Foods, for groceries, but it's enough.
Baker Brothers and Aldi's are not bad.
And they're right down the street from campus.
Yeah.
They're so good. Aldi is so good. The Girl Scout cookies, they're off-brand Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, I haven't tried those.
They taste the exact same. They're so good.
And Winco's pretty good too, by the way. I just haven't been in a while, but yeah, Winco's pretty good.
Winco's good.
But not, I mean, Albertsons is good for like selection, but they're not great on prices.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going against my namesake. I don't like Albertsons. I have no relation to the store, but yeah, no, their pricing is horrible. Riley asked another question. Did a lot of people in your cohort also go to CPP for undergrad? That's a really great question.
Let's see. I would think was it less than half or about half? Probably less than half. Fewer than half, whatever.
Okay. And just because I'm curious, where did they go for their undergrad? The ones who didn't go to CPP?
Well, one person, she is from Sweden. And yeah, she doesn't have an accent or anything. And one person is from the East Coast. Most people are from the California area. Somebody went to San Bernardino and Cal State LA, UCLA, Riverside. So, you know, it's pretty not too far away.
Yeah, pretty good selection. So before we kind of start wrapping up, does anyone else have any more questions? Anyone from the e-board or any other members have questions for Donna?
I'd just like to say thank you again, Donna, because I'm considering that the master's program here, and like I've been stressed to the extremes about just like even considering applying, and like you taking off a lot of anxiety and like, oh, it's not, the end of the world, and it's not, such a big step up. So thank you again. And I hope everyone got like a decreased sense of anxiety when it comes to going to grad school.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw a question about taking a gap year. That is probably entirely up to you, and what you feel you need for your own self-care. I didn't, because I had, my time to work at the Pride Center had ended with the school year. I had that whole summer. So that was sort of my gap months. And I'm glad I didn't take a gap year. I need to get working as soon as possible. And I didn't want to have any more time in between me and getting my first job as a master's graduate student. So that was my thinking on it, is I want to get working when I can get working.
Yeah. I think Anessa also asked, how long is the program going to take to complete?
It's a 2-year, it's a 2-year program. It's 3 years packed into a 2-year program, in our opinion, as our cohort's opinions. Because most programs I've noticed were at least like 3 years. Some were, some you do over the summer also. There used to be a class over the summer, but we don't have to do that class now, apparently. So I think we're going to have this summer off. And then our summer after we graduate, we'll probably go into working as much, whatever we can do. As far as I know, we have winter break off. We might be using that time to catch up on, well, no, the semester's over. So yeah, we have winter break off as far as I know.
Yeah, so you have that long summer break as well? Cool.
Yeah. I between graduating with our bachelor's degrees and, unless you work over the summer, we had the summer off. So I just kind of did self-care over the summer, which is what the previous cohort suggested we do to prepare. It's like, just self-care this summer.
What about the summer in between your first and second year?
Yeah, that I'm not sure. I don't know if we're going to be, I know there used to be a class, but we don't have to take that class anymore. So I don't know if we're going to be doing our practicum starting in the summer. I think we don't start until the fall, though. We apply for them in the spring, so this spring we'll be applying. And then I think in the fall is when we actually begin the practicum.
Cool. Yeah. And then I think one more final question. How many hours do you have to spend on your classwork, or is it based off the amount of units?
I don't time myself. I don't know. It seems like it takes up a lot of time. So I don't know how I would do it. If I worked at the Pride Center still, I would probably be okay, but more stressed out. But at least I'd have a place I can do homework, so it's not like that kind of a job. Yeah, so I apologize. I don't know how many hours it takes to do the class, the homework and that kind of thing. takes a lot of time. It takes a little bit more time than it took for undergrad, except it helps that other people are doing they're doing a section of the readings and giving their notes. Basically, we sign up. We have like a little sign up now that we sign up for who's going to do which reading and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Normally we've started wrapping up around 12:45 because I know at least 3 people on the e-board have a 1 p.m. class. So and I'm sure a bunch of you also have a 1 p.m. class. So thank you so much, Donna, for being here. There's a sign-in sheet for people who didn't sign in already. We love you so much. You will be back.
Oh, I love you too.
Um, thank you for sharing your expertise. It's been really fun. So thank you so much. The recording will be posted as well. So
Sweet.
um,
And I
Thanks,
left
Donna.
my email in the comments, I mean in the chat, if anybody has any other questions.
yes. How do I stop recording?